Ahoy! I'm Tyler, comic boy, in place of Hunter, and you are who?
I'm Harper in place of
JD, I
the
guess.
both. I guess, yeah, I suppose. I guess you're the guy now. Like
Well, I'm
you're gonna
Hunter
be
now.
the
If you,
guy.
as you can see, Hunter has given me free reign over his Zoom account,
No, but he
and
actually has because your internet works better and the Zoom works better. Like it all works better.
and I
So
upload quicker. Guys, Hunter will often be in the chat and be like, "Dude, this video's taking 9 hours to upload." But when I upload the
yeah,
podcast, it's like a flat
it's
20.
yeah, it's
Genuinely, like,
fine. Yeah, it's
like I
absolutely
put it
fine.
to go. I go use the bathroom. I come back. It's uploaded. So
I,
I'm taking
I was
control, which
thinking
means
like,
I'm officially Hunter Murray, as you can see.
how many times do I threaten to leave this show? Right? Like I had
It's
literally
gotten
the thought the
lesser.
other
It's
day.
gotten less. You've threatened
It
to leave
hasn't though,
far
because
less.
I like almost in the chat the other day went, guys, I think I might get to 300 and quit. Like it was on the mind again, right? Like I
Hmm.
was like, hit the milestone, fuck off. But there's maybe a possible chance that like Hunter and JD like retire
You
into the
mean the
ether.
age 300?
Yeah, and like
When
we
you
t
hit 300, I
when I
think I
hit
might
three,
take it to 300.
but like it might just end up
Episode
being that
300, yeah.
we're the guys and they're gone. You know what I mean? Like this
That would
seems to be
be
this is the
is
third episode in like the last 2 months where it's just you and I. That makes me feel like there's a pattern here.
Oh, do you think maybe then 300 is Secret Wars and they're Reed and Sue and they go off and we're Ben and Johnny are left here
Wow.
and we both go join
Okay.
other podcasts?
Damn, that's all. I'll be Jason Aaron, Doctor Strange, and you be a bad book from that time.
Okay, I'll be infamous Iron Man.
Oh, that's a really good book. Did you know that Robert Downey
All
Jr.
right,
is
all right, all
playing
right, all
Doctor
right.
Doom?
Okay, all right, okay. You know what? I actually day by day cannot forget it ever, ever.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
run into it at work. I run into it in my dreams. It's become inescapable at this point.
My partner was asking me about it was like painful for her because I was like explaining the maker and then the new
Yeah.
Ultimate Universe, and then I was trying to explain that Reed is Doom and that the other Reed made this Reed into Doom as kind of a
Yeah.
sick joke. And she was like trying to like wrap her head, and she got it. She said to me like, I just want to ask lots of questions. Please don't think I'm stupid. And I'm like, no, no, this is the fun of this is you asking as many
Yeah.
questions and me going, oh, fuck, right. Okay, here we go. Because like at first I was explaining to her the Reed Doom part. And then she was like, but isn't Reed like the bad guy? And I went, so funny that's actually
There's
another Reed. And she
another
went,
Reed
yeah. And
Richards.
she went, what universe is he from? And I went, well, he's from the old Ultimate Universe. She went, but
she
there's
she
two.
went,
And I'm like, yeah, new
isn't
Ultimate Universe.
isn't Doctor Doom usually Iron Man? Isn't
No, what she
Doctor
said,
Doom
like,
usually Tony
we went
Stark?
through all the comic book
Yeah.
conversation. Then she went, like, how are they supposed to do, like, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom? And I went, you remember Johnny Storm in Deadpool? And she went,
Different,
yeah.
just
And I
same
went,
thing.
oh, yeah, you know how that
New
he looks like
mask,
Captain
same
America.
task. That's all you
Yeah,
said.
exactly. Just that. It's like, it's Deadpool going, he's gonna say it.
Yeah.
That's gonna be all the other characters. That's it.
Jesus
Fucking Doctor
Christ.
Doom, man.
I know. It's actually like I've definitely been thinking about Doom so much over the past few weeks. Just kind of, reignited my love for Doom a bit. But it is like inescapable day by day.
Mm,
You know what I wanted
mm.
to tell you real quick before we get into anything else is I wanted to add something from last week's podcast because I know you would love it. Because I was listening to last week's podcast and there was
Okay.
something I left out in something I was telling you that I've been like,
Okay.
damn it, I should have told you this because I know you would love it. And it goes
Okay.
back to the dinosaur versions of the Fantastic Four. You remember I was
Oh,
telling you
okay.
about that?
I'm all in. Yeah, okay.
So remember how I told you that the dinosaur versions of the Fantastic Four and our regular human versions of them switch places in the universe?
Mm, mm.
Dinosaur Doctor Doom comes with them. There's a cover.
Okay.
There's an ad in Marvel Comics from last year, and it's a cover of Alex Ross drawing the issue of Fantastic Four, and it's Doom riding a Doctor Doom dinosaur, and it
What?
says, "Look at this cover and tell us that you won't buy this issue." That is what the ad says.
Doctor Doom
So
riding
it's an
dinosaur
Alex Ross
Doom.
cover. You will not believe it.
Holy shit, that looks
I
awesome!
know. I
That's the
know.
sickest thing I've ever seen.
I know. Yeah.
What the
And the
fuck?
ad said, yeah, look at this cover and tell us you won't buy this book. And
Dude, Doomosaurus Rex actually looks fucking sick.
the Dooms team up, right? Obviously, they team up to destroy the Fantastic Four, and it ends because they both betray each other. Isn't that incredible?
Oh my
Isn't that
God.
incredible?
That's the thing.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway,
Bro,
I was so mad I left that out because I knew you would love that.
that cover is actually insane.
It's
Like Alex
unbelievable.
Ross's talent, and he's
Yeah. To
drawing
draw just
a
mad
Doctor
shit.
Doom T-Rex.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. Okay.
Anyway, getting into the regular podcast. What episode is this? 281. 281.
281, yeah.
Damn.
We oh wow, 281. We're something good Iron Man is happening around now. I think War Machine just debuted in Iron Man
Oh,
281, or
I don't know
or
what's
it's just
happening. 281 and the
oh
Fantastic
he's
Four.
fighting
I'm almost
he's
there.
fighting the
She-Hulk
Mandarin.
joins. Oh, he's fighting the Mandarin. 281.
Dude,
They just invented Gambit and X-Men.
I literally actually fucking nailed it. It is the debut of the War Machine armor when Tony
That's
Stark's
insane.
wearing it.
That's insane. How you got
Issue
that?
281. We should address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, we
And
should.
we have to like this is it's so we have to go from fucking Doctor Doom riding a T-Rex
Of
to
Doctor Doom.
actually wishing condolences to our friend and host Hunter Murray, his dog
Mhm.
Kuma, who we have made jokes ad
For
nauseum for the
years
last
at this
5 years
point, yeah.
about, has actually passed away, and it's actually
Mhm.
very sad.
It is very sad.
And he couldn't be here, and we had some like really nice chats, I think. I mean, you were
Mhm.
saying like you've never owned a pet, and yet you get it. Like you get it.
Well, yeah, of course I get it. I've
It's
seen
genuinely the fucking hardest thing I've
the only
ever
thing I
experienced.
see from people with pets is how much they love their pets. I never see a
Yeah.
person go, God, I fucking hated my dog. And
Yeah.
no one's ever
Yeah.
said that. And so I
Yeah.
think the kind of relationship I know that Hunter had with that dog is the kind of
Mm.
relationship that kids in cartoons have with their dogs. It's just like,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
beautiful thing where it's like you get it on the box in like, a box in front of your house in a cartoon, and you just love that thing for the rest of your life or
Yeah.
for the rest
And
of its
it's
life.
you don't know you don't know life without them sometimes. It's so weird. Like I was saying to you guys, I still have a cat that I've had since I was 7.
Mhm.
And like I see that
And that
cat every
was
week. And
200 and
that was 200
287 years
years
ago.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I look at her and I'm just like, how the fuck? Like I don't know what my life is like without that animal in it. And
Mhm.
like that is the power of pets. They are the like the greatest gift and the worst heartbreak because
I
they love
remember.
you so unconditionally, and it's the sweetest thing, and you know that you're going to outlive them, so like everything you do is for them, and like the love that they then give back to you. So like I don't know, man. I hope Hunter's okay.
Yeah, me too.
Condolences to them. I hope they're all doing well, and yeah, Hunter, you gave that dog the best life that anyone could have given it, and
Mhm.
we love you, man.
We do. We love you.
That's it.
I think we all
We
love you
love you, man.
listening to this.
Yeah, we do.
I think they probably like you the most. You think they like him the most?
I think Hunter is I think Hunter is the most likable just person
Yeah,
out of
probably.
us.
Yeah,
Like, I
do you
think
think
so.
maybe in the world?
I probably not. Like he
Probably not, but
shit, I don't know actually. He just seems he's the least controversial. He just seems like
I
he's
know.
actually nice.
Except for last week what he said about soups. Jeez.
That was yeah, but
But yeah,
no comment.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Moving on from that, we
Yeah.
have I have a cat posted on the wall in
Oh
front of
my
me that's
God.
telling me notes. I've gotten
This is
notes. We got
awesome.
news for this week. We're actually going to do the podcast like we would normally do it because sometimes we like to lock in, right? So let's start
We're
from the
doing all right.
top.
Oh
Marvel,
no.
you told me about this. Marvel's
Yeah.
releasing their 50,000th issue this year. It's an
They
85th
are.
anniversary issue. And you wanted to show me the cover. Unfortunately, I had already seen it, but let's show the audience the cover if you can pull it up
Yeah.
because it
Okay, I've got
looks like
it.
an unbelievable,
It
insane.
looks
It looks ridiculous. It looks like
It looks
30 years
bad.
too late.
I think it just looks like shit. Like it
It
just
looks
looks
hilarious.
bad.
So, but it's drawn by Kari Andrews, and I love Kari Andrews. Kari Andrews is currently right now weirdly drawing the shit out of Spider-Man Reign 2, where Peter's got that long beard. He looks like Santa Claus. Um, it's just a weird combination of characters as well. No, you don't think like Captain Britain and Wolverine and Kamala Khan,
Yeah,
Peter
no, no.
Parker, Deadpool.
No, it's weird as fuck. Should I
But
go
what
through the the names of the
synopsis?
stories and the talent? Oh yeah. Yeah, actually that probably
Is
makes
there a
way more sense,
synopsis?
doesn't it? Celebrate Marvel's 50,000th comic book release. In the far future of the year 50,000, the exploits of the heroes of the Marvel Age are the stuff of legend. Half remembered, but still celebrated. Half remembered, but still celebrated.
Okay.
Come with us now on a tour of the greatest museum in all the cosmos, in which the few surviving relics of those bygone days have been assembled. Each piece tells a unique story about the contest of champions and how it wrought an end to the Age of Heroes, about the greatest triumph of Miss Marvel and the final secret exploit of Excalibur, and more. Marvel's greatest story. I looked at the list. I saw like two names I know. Gather to commemorate the whole of Marvel history in a once in a lifetime collaboration. Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
So just yap.
Just yapping, just yapping's what I do there.
Oh, and Mon Vellani's got a story in here. Live
Yeah, that's
action Ms. Marvel.
yeah. I saw
Um,
that's cool.
but yeah, so they're doing a 50. They do
Can I
these all the
ask you
time.
something?
What?
There's a story here called Rush Hour, and the writer is Priest. Is that Christopher
Is it?
Priest,
Yeah, I
or
don't know.
is
I
that
just saw that too. I'm like, is he going by a pseudonym now? He's just
is he
Priest.
just
Drop
yeah?
the
Is he
Christopher.
just
I'm just
Priest? Yeah,
Priest.
I'm just Priest now.
Yeah, that's.
It's
Oh
kind of
my
hard.
god. He's gone by pseudonyms before. Like he wrote Spider-Man versus Wolverine as like a pseudonym. It was like James Owsley or something like that.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah. So I guess that's not out of the box for him. Um, Marvel does this all the time. I guess they're now hit 85 because what first Marvel comic was 1939. So we've hit 85 years, but we're not really gonna get because you think about how like Superman and whatnot, they're gonna hit 100 years fairly soon, like 15 years from now, right?
Yeah, yeah. You'll be
Superman's gonna
alive for
hit
that.
100. Yeah, yeah. It's exciting to get there, obviously, but it's far sooner than those Marvel characters are gonna get 100, dude. I'm gonna be
Mm.
60 years old when they celebrate 100 years of the Fantastic Four. So they have
Wow.
to really stretch
Yeah.
those milestones, I guess, because they're not going to get there in any kind of, fashionable time. Superman's
That's
going to be
fine. I think that's
celebrating,
fine. I
but
think that's
like,
fine.
Disney, the corporation is 100, all these things. And
Yeah,
it is
I know
fine. It's just,
because
they
of the Hot
love
Toys.
doing anniversary issues for like anniversaries that are just like, oh, 85 of
Mm.
Marvel, of Namor, it's not even 85 of Spider-Man.
Wasn't there an 80th anniversary of something recently? What was that?
It was probably Namor. It was probably, was it a different character? Who's
No.
80 right now?
Oh.
What, 1944? No idea. Captain America was 41. No.
Marvel 80. I'm just gonna type Marvel 80th
But they do this kind of
anniversary.
stuff all the time, obviously. But I feel like they released Marvel 1000 last year.
Oh my God.
What?
Is that true? Um, the math on that is not fucking mathing. What?
What does it say? It's like an
It was like
85th anniversary of
it
Deadpool.
was like Marvel's 80th anniversary, and the first photo was Kieran Gillen's Iron Man, and I was like, that
That doesn't
doesn't
make
does
any
that work?
sense.
It doesn't fucking work.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, I'm not gonna read it probably. It's also doing that DC 1 million thing where it's just, you know, the year
Yeah,
50,000.
yeah, it's just an unimaginable amount of time in the future, and it's going to tell some small stories about
Yeah, about
characters
how
that
people are still
like
they still miss Spider-Man, I guess.
yeah,
Um,
okay, okay,
yeah, whatever.
whatever.
I'm probably not gonna read it.
Check the next sticky note.
Oh yeah. Hold up. Let me get my
Oh, yep.
fuck. Where'd I put my pen? I was gonna cross it out. The next thing on
This,
the sticky note is Miles's new suit. So they
oh,
revealed a new
you have a photo?
vibranium Miles Morales suit for the comic books written by Cody Ziegler at this time. Let me find it.
Oh,
It's
fuck. I typed in Miles Morales' new suit, and obviously
right
all I
here.
got was that.
So it's this. It's kind of this blue, red, weird Iron Spider type suit.
It's an Iron Spider 2099. That's what it looks like.
I don't think I like it. I think
I
with
don't
Miles,
either.
with Miles, the issue I guess for them is that they struck gold immediately.
Mm.
Immediately the
Yeah,
Miles Morales Spider-Man costume is iconic.
they made the best one ever.
Yeah,
It
So
looks
like,
better in this art. I think this
yeah, because
art
that's
looks
he's the
better.
one that's actually drawing Spider-Man right now.
But when you sent it, I assumed it
Federico
was Peter
Vincienti.
Parker. I assumed it was 616 Peter, and I just went, yeah,
No,
okay, they keep doing this, but no, it's
yeah.
not. And yeah,
Well, they
no, not
already
a fan.
gave Peter a new suit. Remember, they're giving Peter like a new
That
Doctor
Beyond,
Doom Sorcerer Supreme suit. Remember, it's that
yeah, that
weird
was the
suit
was
with the
that
cloak.
no. I remember there was like a
This one, I'm
green and
sending it in the
white
chat.
one.
This one, yeah, gray,
It was like a
gray and red. It's the Doom one. It's the one where he's
oh,
fighting
that no,
sorcerer.
that's not what I was thinking of at all. But yes, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Are
looks
you
like
thinking of the
shit.
Beyonder or not the Beyonder? The Beyond one was that the
The
orange
Beyond one,
and
yeah,
gray one? It was
yeah.
like 3 years ago at this point.
Fucking hell.
I know. Anyway, the thing with Miles, yeah, they kind of struggled, and you see this with adaptations, especially. It's like they try to recreate that suit, and it doesn't really work. Like the best one, I think, is the Across the Spider Verse suit. I think that might
Yeah,
even be the maybe the best Miles
I think
suit
that is
in
the best one.
general.
Yeah.
But the video game created a new horrible, horrific design. Arguably, the 10th anniversary Miles Morales is a bad design. You know, kind of the loose sweater one.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't know. I just think, and they always do it. This is his like second or third new costume in this run alone. Just leave him alone. You know,
Yeah,
just let him
yeah.
keep the iconic costume.
I was about to say I can't talk as an Iron Man fan, but that is literally the point. Like the point is that he's always making a new one anyway.
Yeah, it's part of his character. You know, I guess like with Peter's costume, obviously it's pretty flawless at the get go by Ditko, but there's tweaks that have happened, and every artist comes onto it and they add something new. Like, oh, they have one artist likes a different shade of blue and the eye size and all that type of stuff, and drawing the webbing, you know. But with Miles' suit, it's pretty uniform, just the red and the black. So I guess people
Did
want.
Captain America have underpants?
Yes, he does. Captain America has blue outline underpants. They are outlined on his arm and his suit, but they are
Oh, I
the color of
see.
his suit,
Oh, but they blend in. Yeah, you're
which is
right.
odd anyway.
I feel like
Yeah.
DC really shot themselves in the foot by like every character wearing undies, and now they have to contest with that. Do we give them undies? Do we not give
You
them
think so?
undies? Like it's
It
this
was literally
eternal
every character
debate.
as well. It
Yeah,
was Aquaman's got him, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
yeah,
Yeah,
they've literally all got them. Yeah.
yeah. Except the
Did the
Flash.
Flash? No, the Flash didn't because the Flash has always been goated.
And Flash wore jeans. Jay Garrick wore jeans.
Yeah, but that's based as fuck. He didn't
It
even
is
want
kind
to
of
get
base. It is
it's like
hilarious that he wore jeans and like a
a
nice
tin.
fitted top and
Yeah.
a Hermes cap. What kind of costume is that? That was just everything he had on him, and for
Yeah,
some reason picked up
exactly.
a
I
hat.
fucked with it. I fuck with it
No, I like it too. I
massively.
like it too. I don't like when they actually don't really care for when they try to make Jay Garrick like have like a superhero costume. I'm like, no, just he's like
Yeah,
wearing
no,
a
no, no. Don't
t-shirt.
modernize. Yeah, they
He's
put
wearing a
lines like
t-shirt.
got fingerless
Yeah.
gloves
It's
and
like,
whatever. Yeah,
why would he
like come on.
design it like to look like jeans? You know, he's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
wearing
they're just
jeans.
fucking jeans. Yeah.
John Wesley Shipp showed up in the CW. He was just wearing jeans. You know.
Yes.
Um, I guess that's our thought on Miles's new suit. Oh shit! Now we're already at the big stuff. Uh oh.
What's the big stuff?
Well, the next note I have, I don't know if you want to talk about this immediately
I
next.
love that you can now point at like you can
Yes.
literally hit the note. Oh, that's fun. I like that a lot.
The next note I have here is Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't know if you want to talk about that right now, or you want to talk about the next thing I have written down, which is Wolverine Revenge.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about that Lalo is gonna be in Daredevil.
Oh, let me hold on. Let me write it down so I can cross it out. DD. All right, let's talk about Lalo and Daredevil. um, Tony Dalton,
The
Lalo
ghost, the
Salamanca
greatest of
in
all time.
Better Call Saul is going to play. He's in Hawkeye as the Swordmaster. You know,
Yes,
wasted obviously, but
he was.
he's pretty good in that show, all things considered.
He is,
And allegedly, he is going to be in Daredevil Born Again. And
according
again,
to like Daniel RPK.
yeah, who's I think he's like 65% accurate, you know, according statistically. So he's more right than wrong.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I guess.
But I think you and I
To be
both.
fair, people like Daniel RPK and fucking Jeff Snyder, who I've hated a long time before he became
Snyder.
before he became a scoop person and he was just like a personality on like Collider, whatever the fuck. I
I didn't
just
even
could
know
not
that he
stand him.
was. I have no idea who Jeff Snyder is. I don't know who any of these
I've
people are. I
I've
mean,
known that
none of
fucking
us
guy since
do.
I was like 14, genuinely. I've hated him for a long time. But anyway, those guys like to take massive swings, and those are the misses that go on the record, or
Mhm.
then say like it's the most basic scoop that like has been sort of floated around for a while,
Yeah, like
and then be like claim sort of the credit, and it sort of boosts the numbers, and it just like I just don't trust any of it, and like
yeah.
whether they're right
I
or
don't
wrong,
know
I don't
either.
really give a fuck. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck.
Well, you want
It
them
will or not.
you want them to be right this time. Because I know
And
you and I.
I care less about Tony Dalton being in this show than getting rid of Kamala Khan's father from it.
Oh,
I
oh
would
yeah.
rather they cut all of his scenes than have Lalo in this show.
But do you, I'm in it. I guess I don't really care about the swordsman
That
character
sounds
he
really
played.
bad out of context. I don't it's because he's a pedophile.
Yes,
It's because
allegedly
he's a
he's done
pedophile.
some bad stuff.
Allegedly, he's a pedophile. Yeah, he's done some bad
Um,
stuff.
but I think like we're not. I don't really care about his swordsman character in Hawkeye. I don't really care about the swordsman as
No.
a character in general. Um,
Yeah.
Jack Duquesne. It's like
Jack
he's a
Duquesne. It's a fun name.
classic. He's a classic Avengers character, and he's like
Mm.
integral because he marries Mantis and she becomes a celestial Madonna. Absolute
Mhm.
nonsense. They were never going to do that with Tony Dalton, obviously.
Yeah.
So
They
it's not
could,
even
if
necessarily.
anyone could, though.
Yeah, that would be weird. Him and Mantis just linking up in the MCU. That'd be freaking strange. But I think we're not necessarily excited by the prospect of Swordsmaster, bouncing off
Yeah.
Daredevil
Yeah, no.
or Kingpin. It's Lalo, it's Tony
Lalo.
Dalton, the actor, interacting with, Vincent D'Onofrio, the actor. Like the
one
idea
of the
that just
best
sounds
characters
fun.
in one of the best characters in just fucking history, bro.
Yeah, just an incredibly charismatic guy. I think I said this to you. Could play Iron Man, honestly.
Yeah,
Could be a
we've had this
yeah,
conversation. He would be a great Tony
he'd be an
Stark. He
excellent
really
Tony
would.
Stark. Yeah. So that's exciting. That's exciting if you've watched Better Call Saul, which if you haven't,
Yes,
pause the
you're a
podcast, go
fucking
watch
idiot.
all of
Yeah,
it, then come back.
it's
We'll see you
genuinely
in
the best thing
see you in
ever.
like 6 days. Yeah.
It's
Um,
genuinely the best thing ever made.
all right, so the next note I have is Ultimate Spider-Man. But do you want to talk about Wolverine Revenge? We're gonna jump into comics already, so
Well, aren't we doing like you reread all of Ultimate Spider-Man,
I did.
including this week's issue again, which is
Mhm.
cool. And I feel like I'm quite apt to talk about it because I just caught up on,
Yep.
obviously, last week I caught up on it and then read the new issue this week. I think we should talk about Wolverine's Revenge first
Yeah, just so
because
you
we
can
might
kind
do
of
more of a deep dive on Spider-Man. Although I will
yes.
say I finished Chip's second, I guess if you want to call it
Daredevil?
his second run on Daredevil. Yeah. And
Yeah, second volume.
I just have my thoughts are that really
Right.
could be where you just end the character. It's just absurdly
Yeah.
good. Like when people talk, like it pissed me off for a while, and I know you know this, but like when you spend the better part of your life reading this character, and then the Chip Zdarsky run starts, and it's fucking 10 issues in, and people are going, "This is the best Daredevil run.
Yeah.
Daredevil's the best character ever written." Yada yada yada. It gets a lot. You know what I mean? It
Yes,
was
I know
just
what
a
you mean.
lot, and like the further it got, the more people dropped off. Like saying that, like it really was like the first two volumes, everyone in the world was like, "Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil," and by the time Devil's Reign came around, you didn't see as many people talking about it.
It was still a
But I
very
will
good
say,
book.
it was still very good. But I will say, I got to the end of this second volume, and I was just like, they were right. Like it's like it's on the Mount Rushmore
Well,
now.
do
Like
you think so?
it took that second volume for me to be like, I think I
Really?
like it more. I think I like it more than Ascenti. I think so.
No, you're
I
insane.
think I
So,
might.
all right,
I think I
that's
might.
crazy. That's crazy. You
I
just said
think
that.
I might like, but
Well,
it is predicated on that ending. Like the ending for me,
on
those last like
yeah,
sort of four issues, like the first 10 of that run,
Matt going into hell.
I
Kind of
think it
the
is
dance with
genuinely,
Elektra and Matt going into hell.
I think it is genuinely like just some of the best stuff I've ever read. I was
Ever.
so
So
like,
when
wow.
I remember when Chip was announced on Daredevil 2018, I just remember going like I had read Chip Zdarsky on um I had read Chip Zdarsky on Spectacular Spider-Man And the other book, Howard the Duck, which I
Mm.
found out this week also is the first appearance of Gwenpool. So
Oh,
I own that issue. I own the first appearance of Gwenpool. I found out it's kind of cool.
are you gonna give
Um,
that one away as well?
I might, you know what? I mean, she's big in Fortnite now. You know what? If anybody's a fan of Gwenpool, hit me up, I guess, if you want the issue.
Not like that. Not
Um,
like that.
no. But I was like, I don't know about this. Chip Zdarsky, he's kind of a funny guy. He does like funny,
He is.
quirky
Yeah. Well,
comics.
I was reading Sex Criminals at the time, which
Yeah,
is still a fun run.
yeah. And so I remember being very, very impressed with the first couple issues, especially by that
Oh,
time, having read
yeah.
Bendis, having read Brubaker, having read Wade. I remember I binged that all in like when I was like 15 or something. So I was like
Mm,
baseline level of Daredevil I had down by that point. And so, and Born Again and all that as well. And so getting into this new run where it felt like, oh my God, this is the first real Daredevil run I'm jumping on. That is one of these excellent 10 out of 10
mm,
Daredevil runs. It feels exciting when you're reading it. You know, it feels exciting when it's like,
yeah.
especially because a lot of Daredevil runs are also not just, our writer, but it's the writer artist duo. And we have a duo like Zdarsky and Chichetto that's up there with
Yeah.
your Bendis and your Maliv and your
Yeah.
Nascenti, John Romita Jr.'s and all that stuff. So it's just like, it felt like a historic in a sense or just like celebrated chapter was unfolding as we were reading it, and like it felt like that from issue one.
I do remember having a conversation with a friend where I'm like, yeah, he's killed a guy, but like I expect that they're gonna retcon it that Wilson Fisk actually like had him
Nope,
murdered and pinned it on Daredevil. And I love that to this day it's like
he's a
he
killed a
just
guy.
killed a guy and keep it that way, and it's got so much weight. And like the point of Daredevil's no kill rule isn't that like if he kills the character is ruined. It's that
No,
he's
because
eternally struggling with this fight because he has more rage in him than like a Batman does. Like a
yeah, no,
Batman
exactly.
seems
It's
pretty he's pretty clean cut about like I'm gonna punch this guy in the face like 40 times, but I will
yeah,
not kill. I
that's
won't do it.
exactly
Whereas
it.
Daredevil might
The thing with
accidentally
Daredevil, yeah,
has to
Daredevil is
tackle that.
is he's as much as he hates to admit it, he's not just Daredevil because he likes to save people. He likes to punch people too.
He
He's
likes
addicted to
taking
the
the
thrill.
anger
He's
out of you.
addicted to the violence. He's addicted to all of it.
It's almost like
And
he's a daredevil.
he's a daredevil. And he has killed before. Like in
Mm.
Man Without Fear, he kills people. He blows people the fuck up.
He technically didn't, but
No, he
yes.
remember he puts a guy underwater and then pulls the
Oh,
grenade
he
pins. He
does.
kills, he definitely kills that guy. I was like, you think that guy lived?
To be fair, that's Frank
Um,
Miller. Oh, he also ricochets a bullet into a guy's head.
but no, and he also kills a guy in Born Again. Remember, there's a big climactic moment
Oh,
where
he does.
they're
Yes, he
blowing up
does.
the
Yeah.
helicopter, and
Yes, and he says,
he
"God
says, God
forgive me."
forgive me. Yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
moment where he has to make that choice, and it shows that Matt, when pushed to that decision,
Mm,
he will break and do it. So it's not that
yeah.
he's precious about this no kill rule. It's just that he, I think, doesn't want to do it because then he
Yeah.
knows that he's becoming a monster.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in this, he did it because he wasn't paying attention. And so he's like, am I actually becoming the monster?
Yeah.
Am I becoming this monster that just goes around haphazardly killing people because I just don't care enough? And
I can't believe
that's awesome.
the first Daredevil thing I ever read was that first Mark Waid series. Like at the time, like that's
Crazy.
so weird to me. Of all the runs, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember my mindset at the time. I know that I went Wade, Bendis, Brubaker, Miller, Nascenti,
Mm-hmm.
Sewell, Zadarsky. Like I jumped around a little bit. Um, but like it's such a juxtaposition to go from like the second Mark Wade run to fucking to Bendis.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I
Yeah.
remember because I was a fan of Daredevil, I guess, enough by the time the Netflix show came out. So I was like 14 at the time. And the next season, Daredevil season 2 was coming out the next year. And I remember being like, okay, I like this guy. I want to know everything about this guy. So that was when I read Bendis through Diggle at that point. It was through Shadowland.
Oh God,
So
yeah.
because I was also reading Souls as it was happening.
Yeah, same.
And obviously then you go back and you read your Millers. I think Daredevil is one of those characters you kind of want to read in reverse. You want to get to the classics in time later, because I like having a foundation of the character now. It's one of those
Yeah,
things
that's
like
fair.
I think the same with X-Men, where it's like it's kind of hard to just jump into Chris Claremont. You maybe want like a
You
handle on
no, yeah,
what the
no, you wouldn't
characters
do it.
look like today.
You would go an entry point like a more modern run
Yeah,
that
exactly. So
you
I think that's
one that just like that everyone's fucking loved for the last few years. Who did
Joss
that?
Whedon, the astonishing
No,
X-Men.
the Krakoa stuff, like all the
Oh,
Krakoa
Hickman. Oh
ships.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course it was
I was
Hickman.
like, I was like, wait, you don't.
I knew that. Good lord. But like, yeah,
Who's
like
that random guy that did that
who's that fucking
earth-shattering
guy?
X-Men story?
Who's that guy that did like the like? Yeah, I don't know. Did he write any big events or
Did
anything?
he write 2 issues that I read this week? Um,
Oh my god, he did.
um, but yeah, so
But
you
yeah,
want to start
Daredevil
at your
from I remember
Bendis.
being on a I was on a school retreat in year 12.
Mm-hmm.
Um and that it was the Daredevil series was like about no, it was year 11 actually, because it was when the first teaser came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I, at that point, because I knew we've talked about this, I knew Daredevil from obviously the
The
Affleck movie, but I
the
had and I think you had it too, the
yeah,
Daredevil versus Spider-Man VHS.
cartoon,
There's
yeah, the
four
90s
episodes from
cartoon.
the Spider-Man
See, no,
animated
I didn't
series.
have that disc set, but I had another one that had an episode with Daredevil in it as well.
Yeah, I mean he's only in
So,
two of them, but yeah,
mhm.
yeah, and like I loved
I
Daredevil's
have
an
that
idea.
Daredevil from that show figure.
I think I've told you this before too. I had a Cyclops, an X-Men 1, 2, or 3, whatever. He's in the black leather suit. It was Cyclops. I filed his head down, like the top of his head, and made a little red helmet out of paper, texture, and sticky tape and put it on his head so I could make a custom Daredevil figure.
What the fuck?
I know. I was a young, stupid boy.
You
I also
know, I got
the
this
same
Daredevil
weekend.
figure last month, bro.
I, I
It's
believe
pretty
that was
good.
the same weekend. I was a very small boy that I watched Alien 3 for the first time. it was,
Wow, that was a big week for you, man.
it was a big week. It's a
They
monumental
made
time in my
Daredevil
life.
figures back then. You didn't have to scavenge in
Yeah,
the garbage. Let
yeah,
me
but you know,
find a tin
like
cap with
a
put horns
Morton
out of
Joe
it.
doesn't allow us toys. We have to
Oh,
make
I'm
them
sorry. I'm
ourselves
sorry.
in the
I forget you're in the
Westland.
wasteland. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had your water today yet or no? Is that after
No, no,
this?
I've eaten maggots and I'm drinking guzzling.
Oh, dude, you're fucked.
What a day! What a lovely day. Anyway,
It's and you're
yeah. So,
spraying chrome thing. Anyway, um,
but yeah,
Daredevil.
I had read the two Wade runs, and that was it
Mhm.
when that trailer came out. And I was trying to be like, Daredevil's gonna be cool, and like, let's have hope. And I remember people being like, it's okay. Oh no, it was the photo. That photo of him on the rooftop came out in the
Yes.
thing, and everyone was like, it looks okay. And I was like, have faith. And that teaser came out, and obviously I was young and I didn't have a mobile plan, so I was running on like data, and it was the days where you could like send data to someone, you could send money to someone so that they could have a little bit of data on their phone to like show
Hmm.
something. And we all watched the teaser trailer for Daredevil, and everyone was like, yeah, okay, maybe it will be good. And I'm like,
Oh,
you
all right.
because understand. He's depressed. It's awesome. You'll
It's
love it.
sick.
And like, I just feel like there are a lot of times, and I think this is especially relevant in the last couple months, there are a lot of times where I get very excited for a thing and probably set my expectations too high. And because I love said thing, I nitpick it to all shit. I think Daredevil is one of the few examples in my life where I built something up so fucking much and it paid off every expectation that I had.
Hmm.
And to this day, it is, if it's not my favorite TV show, it's my favorite like adapted like TV show adaptation sort of thing. Like if it's not
Interesting.
Daredevil,
Yeah.
it's Better Call Saul.
Do you think so where would you put Zdarsky's run in the whole totality of Daredevil?
But yeah, so when I said that I like it more than Nascenti, and I don't know if that's true now.
Who's
Like I
number
gotta
one? What's
I
number
gotta
one?
I got I I still think for me it's Wade. I really do. I think it's
Mhm.
Wade. I like both of the can if I can collapse both runs together, it's Wade.
I think I go through a lot of phases where it's going to be Wade or it's going to be Brubaker. But I think it's Bendis. I honestly, I'm thinking back on it now. I think the story of Matt's identity being revealed
Oh
so
yeah, no, it's excellent.
unceremoniously,
No, no, no.
ruining
It's
his
it's
life. I think even the fact that there are issues just set from the FBI agent's perspective, and it's not even
Mm.
Daredevil. I love that. It is like a crime saga. It is like
Yeah, no,
it
it's
is the peak of
brilliant.
that. It's you know what
It's
it kind
also
of feels like a bit. Honestly,
you gonna say The
feels like
Walking
Matt
Dead.
Reeves the Batman,
Oh,
like in a way where it's
oh
like
yeah, okay,
it
yeah,
feels like that kind of tone and that kind of darkness in the character and stuff.
yeah, 100%.
For me that is peak. And I've always gonna remember there's a moment in one of the later issues where someone's trying to kill Elektra, and and it's the panels of Matt and Elektra standing next to each other. This moment's always in my mind because I think it's
Mm.
so funny. And they're going, I wonder who's trying to kill you. It's a blank panel, and there's just a panel of Matt catching a playing card from
Oh
about to hit
yes,
Elektra's
yeah.
neck
Oh
and just
no,
going, I think I got an idea. I think I
yeah.
know
Oh
what it is.
my. I remember reading that. My jaw dropped. That was back. That
Yeah.
was. I mean, like because I didn't know as much that was going on. I'm not
Yeah.
expect like this newest run. Because I like finished the Dusky. I've jumped on the new one. I'm up to like the fifth issue. And like when
Saladin
they're
Ahmed.
talking about like yeah, they're talking about like there's gonna be an assassination. I went Bullseye's gonna be in this, and I wasn't surprised. Like I turned the page, I'm like Bullseye's here. You know, like the
Yeah. Yeah,
surprise isn't
exactly.
hitting
Yeah.
as much anymore. But like I remember that fucking hell. Maybe this Bendis. I don't know. I'm gonna say Wade. I'm gonna say Bendis.
I
I'm
think the
gonna
peak of Daredevil,
say
for me, the peak of Daredevil is issue 50 of Bendis, the one where he beats up Kingpin and becomes the Kingpin.
Kingpin and says he's the new Kingpin.
I own that
Yeah,
issue. I
it's
went out and found that issue and
wow,
bought it. Yeah.
wow.
That is for me that might be peak Daredevil ever.
Is it? Oh, oh, this is tough. I Miller might be the most that might have the most nostalgia for me reading a comic book I can think. Like I remember
Mhm.
reading that run and just like every day being like, I love that this book exists. Like I was so happy to like go home. I
Mhm.
remember it was like my mum and my stepdad, we were all playing like pool in the shed and having like it's sort of just a party night at home. And like in between games, I was just reading Frank Miller's fucking Daredevil while they played a game of pool. Like I have such nostalgia attached to that run. I'm gonna say
Mhm.
Wade, I'm gonna say Bendis, I'm gonna say Miller, I'm gonna say Brubaker, maybe Zadarsky, then Nascenti,
Interesting.
or maybe
Necentes is an interesting one. We talked about it because I did read it last
because
year, but
it's so weird. Yeah,
it is so weird. You get the first half that is kind of you want to say street level Daredevil stuff.
it's typical Daredevil
There's
stories.
weird
Yeah,
spin-off issues where it's about Johnny Storm fighting a
Johnny
crowd or
Storm.
whatever.
Yeah, Johnny Storm getting called the R word.
Yeah. Um, but then there's the second half where Met's not even in New York and he's fighting Ultron and shit. And then there's
He's
the
fighting
third part where
Ultron.
he
He's
goes to
fighting
hell.
Mephisto. He's fighting what Darkheart. Yeah, he goes to
Yes. And
hell.
then he goes to
He
hell.
he helps a genetically created perfect woman fight back against the person who created her in a story that's talking about like animal farming and genetic mutation. And do you remember that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a weird book. It's not what you
Oh, and he goes
expect.
to the town and he helps a small town, yada yada
Yes.
yada. Like, yeah, it's awesome.
It's not what you expect from a Daredevil
Oh,
book.
that's right. And then what is the it's not, is it Inferno? Inferno's the big event that
Inferno,
happens at the
yeah,
time,
the
and all of
Inferno.
New York is yeah, like yeah, it's fucking crazy. He kisses Mephisto. It's good times.
It's a great book. It is
It
but it
is.
is a weird one. It's a weird one. And I think you can tell Chip Zdarsky loves it. You can tell that Chip
Yeah,
Zdarsky
yeah.
loves Anna Senti's run. So I think
Yeah.
that's why he goes to hell. That's why there's so much Typhoid Mary stuff. In a
Typhoid Mary
way, I
stuff.
think Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil is a combination of a lot of the ones before it,
It is.
you know. So
Yeah,
it's
100%.
so it's a good, I don't want to say it's like a good, no, I mean it's like a good jumping on point for Daredevil. If you want to get into Daredevil, if this is the first Daredevil run you've done, or this is like, for a lot of people I know this was like one of the first Marvel comics they jumped on monthly and
Yeah.
have read through the whole saga of it.
There
So
are
I think
worse things, aren't there?
yeah, there are definitely worse things. I was asking this in the chat. Do you think it's the most like beloved Marvel comic of the past couple of years?
Oh.
Because it might be. I mean, like people
Yeah,
talking about it.
if it's not that, it might be X-Men Krakoa shit. Because I just
Mhm.
but Daredevil definitely was like hitting more mainstream than X-Men was, wasn't it?
I mean, probably. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
remember people raving about Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil for years.
I just I feel like they've made a wise decision editorially speaking in this new run where they're just not even trying to like follow on from Chip. Chip, the way that run ended, Chip Zdarsky basically ended the character of Daredevil. Like he
Yeah,
gave like that is the Marvel could have never made a single Daredevil comic ever again, and they did it. Like they would have succeeded. They Breaking Baded it. They Better Call
hmm
Sauled it. They fucking not Game of Thrones it. They did the
the
perfect
idea
the
that
beginning
Matt,
to end. They did the arc, and it's
you give
done. They
Matt,
end gamed it.
you give Matt a moment of happiness where he's living at peace. He no longer
Yeah,
has to fight, and it is kind
sacrificed
of
himself
beautiful.
in hell to save his friends. He's done it all. He's like forgiven himself. He's like
Found his faith
um
again.
found his faith, come right with God, and yeah, like it's perfect. It really is like a perfect ending to the character. But like the new run
Hmm.
is it's cool. I like that they're doing. I like that it's different, but I'm also very much expecting that at a point they're just going to be like, all right, let's give him everything back because there's only so much
Yeah,
time I think you can spend in the he doesn't, his memory's spotty, but he remembers most of it. But other people don't remember him, but Elektra knows him.
yeah.
But yeah, like it something has to give at some point. I don't know. You'd be further along than me because it's up to
I
like what
actually
issue
have
10
I've
comes
actually
out
missed a
next.
couple issues. I haven't
I
been
think
fully
issue
up to
10
date
is
on them.
next week, but you're still a couple. Like you read, I saw the next issue has Doctor Strange in it.
I think I read up to that. I don't remember where. You know what happened at some point was that I just stopped, I guess, getting it in my pull list. I just forgot it came out,
Yeah.
and I was like a few months behind. I'm just like, oh shit, I forgot like the past couple months of Daredevil,
Yeah.
and I just haven't
It's
caught up
like
yet.
I think
I mean,
it
I
is
like Saladin Ahmed, and I like it. I mean, I'm in it. I trust him a lot. I think he's gonna do
yeah.
and has
I
done
like
some cool stuff so
I
far.
like binging it has been exciting. Like I've
Hmm.
enjoyed doing the binge of all this stuff. I mean, I said it on the podcast all the time. I was like, I will catch up on this stuff. It's just I wasn't in the space to catch up on it. And then
Yeah,
it really is like once you get the itch to catch up, it's like
you
all
can't stop.
cylinders are firing. Yeah.
What do you think of Cooter's art?
I
It's
I
not
like the art in
comparable
the
at all with, and I say this as a guy that likes Aaron Cooter a lot. Chichetto is in another league. You're never going to be able
Oh
to
no,
compare
it
the two.
is. I think the last couple issues that haven't been his art, I've actually enjoyed the art more. Like, let me see a panel that actually doesn't look goofy.
I
Like
like,
this. This is like
yeah,
this art. It's like a little bit grittier than the first few issues. Like I like
yeah,
this a lot, but I like the action. I said this in the chat. I like the action in those first few issues. Like you see him, he'll bounce hit the billy club off a surface, and we track where it bounces, and then we track him catching it, and then like plugging it back together, and then hitting someone with it, and it's
yeah.
like,
The fights and the kind of there's good action set pieces and stuff. I think that's kind of what
yeah.
it's kind of interestingly enough what this run has been set around is the big fights and stuff, which is cool.
But they've done a good because like Cheto and Zadarsky they didn't really do that. Like it was just like really cool pages of someone going like this.
Yeah. Well, there
You know what I
was
mean?
there
We
was
weren't
the
tracking
one
action.
there was the arc where Hell's Kitchen was attacked by all of like Kingpin's guys, like the
Yeah, yeah,
Rhino.
yeah.
And that was probably
Yes.
the biggest scale action. I mean, obviously besides the Devil's Reign and whatnot, but that was kind of the highest action we got. I mean, obviously there's that incredible issue where Chichetto draws Daredevil fight the Avengers and Spider-Man.
Mm.
But that is definitely the peak of the action in that. And I was kind of disappointed by the end because we go so
Actually,
like,
yeah, you're right. The two fights I can think of specifically is when he fights John Walker in the hallway, which is short, and then the one with
mhm,
Spider-Man where he bounces it and plugs
yeah.
the
But because I was gonna say that I think the I was kind of disappointed by the end of the run a little bit just by the fact that it felt like they gear shifted into this was it the fist, right?
the fit. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like they gear shifted into it a bit quick and it
Oh,
didn't.
the second run borderline feels out of nowhere. Like
Yeah,
him with the beard and everything and being the
yeah,
leader of the fist and him and Electra marrying genuinely feels like oh, okay, that's what we're doing. Like
yeah.
it works to get to the finale that they get to, but yeah, no, it definitely does like,
Because I think the
oh, okay, it's all
action,
about the
I
war.
think they could have stepped up the action a bit. And I'm not saying that as like a detractor, but you have set up two giant ninja armies fighting each other.
Yeah, and they fight
I
once.
yeah, exactly. And obviously love Daredevil fighting the Avengers. That fight between her and Elektra, where he's trying to kill himself, is
Is amazing.
spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was kind of disappointed, I guess, by the fights at the end.
Mm.
Nothing on Chichetta. Chichetta's
Well,
incredible. It's
no,
just they
but like
didn't. Yeah,
no, you're right. Like because it was tying in with Punisher and stuff at the time, the big fight between the fist and the hand doesn't really happen. Like we see it
yeah,
in like the sixth or seventh issue a little bit. He fights Frank a little bit, but really what happens is Frank damages Matt's eye. They argue for a bit, and then that's the end of the Punisher versus Daredevil part of that because
yeah,
Punisher goes and fucks up the hand on his own accord in his own book, and then Matt deals with the aftermath in his. And there's no like the stuff they set up in the first half of that second run doesn't really come to fruition. It pivots
yeah,
to Daredevil trying to save his friends, which
yeah,
that was the stuff that really worked for me. That's why, like I said, the
yeah,
first 10 issues, I was like, this is pretty good. And then the last four, I'm like, whoa.
yeah. And I like it. I like it. I like Saladin
I
Ahmed.
like
I
it
think he's
too.
a great writer. He's writing Daredevil, and I meant to say he's writing Wolverine now. Obviously, he's writing Daredevil. That's what we're talking about. He's
Mm.
also going to be writing Wolverine,
Mm.
which is cool. And he wrote 50 issues of Miles Morales. So
He
yeah,
did.
yep.
When
He
did I
did he
read
did
that? No, I
no he
didn't.
did the second run after. He was the first guy to write it after Bendis.
Okay, so no, didn't get
So
there.
no, you did not get to that. That was Daredevil talk, I guess. Let me
Yeah, it
write
was
that
fun.
and then yoink. Okay,
Yeah,
Wolverine Revenge.
yeah. Wolverine's Revenge.
Real quick, did you read a red band version of this, or did you read a normal version?
I think it was Red Band because someone got their fucking head knocked off and their like neck pulled out or
I
something.
can't tell what is red band about this book
Can you show me the
besides
part?
him gutting this T Rex with
Yeah.
his just
Can you
giant
show me
meat
the part where
tusk
Maria Hill and whatever get their heads knocked off by Sabretooth and all that?
right here.
Yeah, no, I definitely read the Red Band version there. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's yeah,
so
like
I
Red
think
Band's a
again,
real fucking flimsy label, isn't it? Like
Marvel's cool there, but I think it's cool. I think this issue. I'm really curious to know what you thought of this because from page one, it was me going, "Oh, that's not what I thought this was going to be." So I
yeah.
thought this was just going to be, Hickman or Hickman Capullo writing, doing this crazy balls to the wall Wolverine story where we're doing whatever. He's going to fight some
Mm,
dinosaurs. He's going to team up
mm.
with Shield. He's going to do crazy shit. But from the page one, we get a classic Hickman just
Yeah.
word page,
We get genocide.
and I'm like, oh, this is an Elseworld story. This is
hmm
this is this is an alternate universe.
That
This is not
that was the part that
616.
threw me first page. I went,
Yep.
oh, okay. And
Yeah,
then
and immediately I just went, oh, all right. It kind of
yeah,
felt
I felt
less interesting.
yeah, yeah, I felt resigned to the fact that I'm like, they're gonna do a bunch of dumb shit here, and I'm just gonna have to roll with it. Like,
Yeah,
you know
because
what I
the fact that
mean?
anything goes in a story like this, it is spoilers, I guess. But in this issue, they kill a lot of mainline Marvel characters, and some of
Yeah,
our
and it's
heroes
just
go
like,
heal, and it does feel kind of weightless because it's just
yeah,
like they kill Captain America, they kill the Winter Soldier, they kill
they
Maria
burn
Hill
through
and
it, man.
Nick
Yeah.
Fury. Yeah, and it kind of feels. I thought this was going to be in continuity, just a big fun Wolverine story where he does crazy shit. And while I think it is going to be that, I think this first issue wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
No, same. I read it and I went, will I read the second? I don't
It'll probably
know.
be a really
Probably
good trade.
I will read the second because you and I will talk about it on the podcast.
Yes. Well,
That
I'm
will
going
be
to
the
read
only
it.
reason.
Listen, Greg Capullo
It
is
looks beautiful. This is some of the
Greg
best Greg
Capullo.
Capullo art ever,
Greg
genuinely. It
Capullo is
looks so
unreal.
clean.
I said this in the chat. I have a theory. I think this was written using the Marvel method where Capullo drew it first and then Hickman put all the dialogue over it. It
A
feels like one of those
lot.
books, no? Doesn't it feel like,
Wow.
but I just feel like a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the story here
Yeah, shit just
is
happens.
it's just secondary. It's just
Yeah,
secondary
no.
to the cool looking visuals. And so I would I would not put money on it, but I honestly think this could have been done during the Marvel method. This is way more Capullo than it is Hickman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it's it doesn't read like a Hickman book at all. It's actually kind
No.
of like it. It like I associate Hickman with weight and not so much text. Like Hickman isn't always text heavy. Sometimes he really is. But like
Sometimes they really can be, yeah.
sometimes he really can be. But like Spider-Man, for example, is not super text heavy. But like I associate him with like weight and like I, I don't know. I don't associate this. Like this felt like Jonathan Hickman does like a Jonathan Hickman does Machete or something, like a
Yeah,
grindhouse
it's kind
movie.
of
You
it
know
is.
what I
You
mean?
know what? But that's what the thing was kind of that's what I was excited for. I'm just kind of excited by the idea of Hickman not understanding that he doesn't have to always write the most large scale, insane, meta
Yeah,
textual thematic shit. He can have
yeah,
fun with the books too.
yeah,
But I think this is a Capullo thing. I think this is all Capullo. That's what it
yeah.
feels like to me. And honestly, I mean, I'm 100% down to have Greg Capullo draw anything he wants to draw in the Marvel universe, especially fucking Wolverine.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I will, for that alone, rereading the next couple issues because I just
Do
want to
you
see
think?
what he draws. But I was expecting, I guess, more from this.
Do you think this story has maybe one of the dumbest like villain plots ever, in the sense that they use
Ever?
Omega Red's like disease to like temporarily deactivate, and they specifically say temporarily deactivate Wolverine's healing factor so that
Mm-hmm.
they can put a bomb
Like the
under his
Suicide
rib
Squad,
cage,
yeah.
right? And then they blow him up and they go, "Well, he's dead. Let's go." And it's like, you guys know that this dude's entire thing,
Yeah.
and you literally said it was only temporary. It's
Yeah.
it's him being able to heal back from like a near atomic level, and he's
Yeah,
fine. Like,
he
of
can
course he's
heal from
fine.
like a blood cell.
That's what I mean. Like, he's
Yeah.
fine. Of course he's
Like
fine. They
why
all
yeah.
walk out like no one will remember the West. Like,
Yeah,
what?
I love that. They just walk out like, "Oh, we got Wolverine. Easy
Yeah,
as
like what?
pie."
No,
No,
you guys have blown him up
yeah,
so much.
yeah, yeah, that is so true. I guess I don't know why I didn't think of that, but it is true. It's just, especially the characters here, like Sabretooth and Deadpool and
Deadpool,
people
yeah.
that Omega Red, people that know him intimately, are just like, hey, he's
All
probably
right, good
dead.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably dead. It's
That's like if
Wolverine.
they shot him in the head once and they're like, all right, he's done.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I was just
Maybe
like,
it was
why
an
did they
adamantium bomb.
I can't do Colossus so stupid, bro.
You don't like his beard though?
I saw his beard and I had the single dumbest thought I think I've ever had.
What was it?
I went, "Oh, is this going to be a secret Ultimate book?" And then I went, "No, we just like Captain America and Bucky are here and they've just blown up and Nick Fury was
Oh,
running Shield."
he's had
Like,
a beard before as
I
well
know, I just like I
in
saw it. I
the
went, "Oh,
regular canon.
Colossus has a beard. Oh, he must be."
Colossus. Can I tell
Like,
you something?
yeah.
Reading Claremont's X-Men, I wanted to talk about this because I think it's so strange. Colossus and Kitty Pryde, right? Because
Right.
nowadays you look okay. So when Colossus joins the X-Men, they make a note of saying he's the youngest member. He's like 17, right? And they
Okay.
take him from the farm in Russia, like straight from the fucking farm. Charles Xavier shows up, picks him up. You're an X-Men now. We're gonna send you to fight an island. That's giant size X-Men issue number 1, right? And he's like, they make a point of saying he's 17. He's like,
Okay.
he's like a bright young kid. And when Kitty joins, 30 issues later, they make a point of saying she's 13 and a half, right?
Okay. Okay.
And by the point I'm at, where it's been probably 40 issues since Kitty debuted, maybe 50, and they're not in a relationship yet, not quite yet, but it's just about to happen. My issue is not
Here we go.
necessarily the age gap in theory. It is that in the book, Claremont writes Kitty Pryde saying to Colossus, "Oh, Peter, if only I could be with you if you weren't so much older than I am." And then the lesson of the story is like, it's okay though, because they do fall in love. Exactly. And it's like, I would be okay with thinking about it as not weird, as not anything, because we know he's this innocent guy and he would never do anything to harm her. They're just
Yeah.
people put here by circumstance because they're both freaks.
And they're both
But
minors.
in the book, they keep bringing up how much older he is than her and how weird it is. And then
It
they
is
get
weird.
together anyway. And I just,
Do you know, like, it would be so
oh,
easy for him to just make Colossus 17 and make her 16 and,
yeah,
like, not
exactly.
have to,
Well,
like,
Colossus
do
also
any of it.
ages by this point. Colossus, by the point he's at
Oh,
now, he's like 19.
oh,
Yeah,
oh
and she's
no.
14. Yeah.
Oh
So exactly,
no.
it's they keep. I could, I guess, accept it as, oh well, I get we are reading this relationship. We know that there's nothing wrong with the way they treat each other.
Yeah.
And you could leave it at that. But Kitty keeps fucking saying it. She keeps saying, "If only you weren't so much older than I, we could be
Oh my
together and be in love." And Colossus going, "Oh, Kitty, but whatever. You're still,
God.
come on." And it's like, that's why now people on Twitter call Colossus a pedophile, because that's what
Yeah.
you wrote him as
Well,
Claremont.
because you wrote him as a pedophile. Yeah, exactly. Like, you did this.
Yeah, that was
Oh
that's
my,
that was my that's those are my thoughts on Colossus. Great
that's so
guy,
fun.
except for when he's not a great guy.
That was not where I was expecting that to go. But yeah, like, why put yourself in the position where you have to make, like, this argument and this story?
Yeah,
Like,
just don't
why do
mention their
it?
ages.
Just don't mention their ages at all. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh god. Anyway,
Jesus
let me wait.
Christ.
Hold up. Let me
Okay.
cross out Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine was, yeah, it was whatever.
I'm gonna keep reading it just because Capullo. Love him. I mean, come on.
I liked Alien Romulus more than I liked Wolverine's Revenge. There we go.
Whoa. Me too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, you too, man.
Ultimate Spider-Man issue number
It's,
8.
I love comic books, man. I love them.
Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 8. Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicchetto. First off,
Dude,
love
yes.
this cast. We got a
Yes,
cast
yes,
of
yes.
characters. Classic Hickman.
I just love a Jonathan Hickman book having a white page that has some information about the universe on it.
Yep.
You know I love
That's
that.
yeah. This issue is just the next in a long line. By long, I mean
Good
8
shit.
issue, 9 issue line of me going, this is just what Spider-Man should be.
Yeah.
This is just what I want Spider-Man to be.
I can't believe they had the opportunity. There is a scene in this book where is Pete's son Richard?
Richard, yeah.
Richard after his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Pete's son, it's his birth. I mean, it's both of their birthdays. It's him and May's birthday, and they have a birthday party. And they make a point that Jonah has gotten a present for Richard. And we have a scene where they talk to each other, and Jonah says, like, when I was in school, I didn't have any friends. I was up the back of a class reading a book and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anyone like that? And we know that Richard is that guy. Like, he says, I don't want to go to TV. I don't want to
Yeah.
watch TV and go to bed. I want to go to bed and read a book and yada yada. And they had the opportunity to, like, have J. Jonah Jameson, reveals what the present is, and it's his own book that he
Yes, it
self-published,
is.
and that be like the joke that, like, oh, he's such a selfish asshole that, like, all he could think to get is his own book, which is partially true and
Which is
is
partially
there
true,
within the
yeah.
character. But the way the scene is written, it's like, no, it's an actual, he knows that, like, I know that you're like me. I wrote this because it helps me, and hopefully, like, people like me get it.
Yeah.
And Richard gets it, and he's like, "This is really cool, Mr. Jameson." And I was
Yeah.
like, I was so
Yeah.
touched, man.
The
I was
the
like,
character
"Yes."
stuff, we
Oh,
Hickman, obviously we just talked about, is obviously, we love him for the scale, the size of the stories and all this. But we often forget that his character stuff is just out of this world. Like the way
unreal, man.
like Ben in this universe is such a fully rounded character. You know how I imagine Ben in this universe when I was rereading it like an hour ago? You know whose voice I hear?
Jonathan Kent from Man of Steel.
No. I really thought you were about to guess it though, because I was going to say Mike Ehrmantraut, Jonathan Banks.
Oh my God.
Peter, put your web shoulders away,
The
Peter.
paper officially launches next month.
I want you to join the paper, Peter.
But that's how I'm hearing him. That's honestly how I'm hearing Uncle Ben in
That's
this.
nuts. Wow.
I love this version of Uncle Ben. I love this
Mm.
version of Uncle Ben and Jonah being just good friends. It's like,
Just good dudes. Yeah.
I love all of these characters. I'm just I'm in it, man. I'm loving these
He's
characters. There's
he's
a
attacking
panel.
the poor bakery like worker, being like, you take a piece of bread and you put something
Yeah,
in
because
between it.
yeah, he
And you...
goes. Yeah, Jonah goes to a bakery and tries to order like a ham sandwich. Like it's just
Yeah,
classic like character stuff. And it's just this is the panel that we're in it for, though.
yeah,
Peter and his
yeah.
family at a birthday party. I just realized that this
So
says
good.
Secret War.
I
This
saw that.
arcade
I
game.
saw it says Secret War.
Um,
Yeah.
but this is the stuff we're in for. Like this is what we wanted. But the beginning of this issue and kind of the talking points of this issue are the suit stuff and the Tony Stark stuff.
Dude, that symbiote is happening, bro.
Oh my god, yes. Hunter's 100% correct.
He
This
kind
suit
of
is going to
It's
be
not
an AI
it's not
Venom.
an alien, but he is. I give both of you credit. You were both right. Like, he was right that it's Venom, and you were right that this is how they're doing. They're doing AI
Yeah.
Venom.
I think that's so
yeah.
cool. Dude, it's creepy because you can see it in this panel. It smiles at
Yeah,
Peter.
it's just
It does
it's
a little
sus. It's
smirk.
a sus little ball.
I
I don't
like it a
like it.
lot. Because I was thinking today, like, okay, Venom is we're gonna do Venom, but that also means we're gonna do a black suit arc.
Yeah. Even though
Symbiote, air quotes, Spider-Man arc for Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh no. Like
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
this is it's one of those things. It's kind of part of the reason I think this book works so well is it because it kind of feels metatextual in the way that like Across the Spider-Verse was, where
Mm.
it's like it's built off the template of 616 Peter, so we know the things that were going to happen, and we're just not
Yeah.
sure how they're going to happen because like we know through the trappings of this,
Oh,
we know what Venom looks like, and Hickman knows that we know that this looks like Venom to us.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if they're gonna do a black suit arc, a dark Spider-Man arc, and it's this adult Peter who's as responsible as he can be because he's got a wife and kids, I'm very scared to see what happens to him.
I think it's just gonna lead to the fallout of him and Harry. And I think that is exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
well, because in
that.
this,
Oh,
Tony Stark, we pick up on where the last issue ended off. Tony
the
Stark's
goat, he's
arrived.
back, dude. Chichetto draws he's just the best. This was my favorite, was Harry being like, I'm not telling you who I am. And like he just
Yeah,
puts the
yeah,
hand up, just opens the fucking mask up.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. But Tony comes to Spider-Man, and Peter's like, first thing Peter asks is, what is my suit? I want to know what my suit is, and
And he's
I like
like,
that.
that's the first question
Yeah,
you
Tony's like,
ask.
that's the first question you have is what's your deal with your suit? But Tony establishes that it's the last thing that his father created. It's the last thing Howard created. It's Pico Tech. And so
And
he
that
says
he
he
like
doesn't
doesn't have the
understand it.
capabilities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't understand it either, but he's giving it to Peter because he's like, this is the best. If this is the most incredible technology my father built, I need to give it to the most important person that I can find.
Yeah, man.
Because the
Yeah.
maker's
Something
list,
special for someone special.
that's exactly what he says. The maker's
Yeah.
list that Tony Stark Tony Stark found a list written by the maker of the most important people that he had to get rid of in time. He called them where is it? He called them deemed mission critical to erase from history.
That's
and at the
right.
top of the list was Peter Parker.
Spider-Man, yeah.
So he gives it to him because he's like, for some reason, you're at the top of.
You're the guy, yeah.
You're
I think that's so fucking cool.
And
I think that's
again,
so cool.
the reason it's so cool is because it's another like kind of metatextual.
Metatextual, yeah.
It's
we
a
know the importance of
metatextual
Spider-Man.
Thing. It's also because that's also speaking about regular Peter Parker. That says something about 616 Peter, where the maker recognized and maker's original Ultimate Peter, who was his friend because they were both teenagers.
Yeah.
It's that he recognizes through all history, Peter Parker and Spider-Man are very important. They are probably the most important thing as far as like morale in this universe. Like, if I'm gonna win a war, I have to get rid of the heart of the heroes,
which is all metatextual on like Marvel's success. It's also like so dependent on Spider-Man for such a long time before
so
the new wave of
if
Marvel.
There's going to be the list, Spider-Man's going to be the top of it, and I just love that. I'm very attached to metatextual explanations of why a character is important. Like, I love the metaverse and Doomsday Clock. I think that is so neat. I
It is
think it's
cool.
so
It is
cool
cool.
to
Well,
this
I mean,
day.
that's specifically made to be fucking cool for you. It's literally going like, if you shift Superman either way,
Yeah,
everything collapses because
but I
he's the most
think
important thing.
that is also true though of a lot of different universes in fiction, and I think Marvel works the same way around Spider-Man. Because it's even like small things like in the Spider-Verse event, this was always so fascinating to me, but they have the web of life and destiny, that
Yeah.
that weaves throughout the multiverse. And Loom World, where they weave the web, is Earth 001. So
Interesting.
what
Yeah. So the center,
the
like the
center
very
of the
beginning and the
Marvel
center.
universe is Spider-Man. It
Wow.
weaves with the myth of the spider and Peter Parker, and so multiverse spins out from there. Stuff like that I think is really neat. I really like
That
stuff
is
like that.
cool.
And so
Yeah.
I like this saying like the maker deemed you important. I'm I as Tony Stark is not entirely sure why, but we need you in
Yeah.
this fight because he says the maker returns in little over
A
a
little
year.
over a year. Yeah.
And
That's crazy.
I thought it was interesting that he says that, and this issue is the one where Peter establishes that both of his kids share the birth month.
Yeah. Of
And I
August.
don't know why, but connecting those two things together really scared me because I was just
Oh,
thinking,
really?
in an issue a year from now, where
From
we
now,
know it's gonna be Richard and May's birthday again,
yeah, it's
and
not
the
going to be as
maker's
happy.
going
It's
to
going to be
return.
dreading it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like that. But that is the genius of Hickman right there, where
Yeah.
seeding stuff like that in, because he's not like, I'm just gonna make their birthdays be the same because I want to save page real estate. Like he's doing that because
Yeah.
these
In a
details will
year from
become
now.
important. You know, I
Man.
love stuff like that, and I love
I
also
just,
like, what do you think of Harry in this? Like Harry is clearly he's gonna he's a loose cannon. That guy.
he's a fucking loose cannon. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, I love Harry in this as a character, but yeah, like he's definitely not. He feels like he's gonna go more loose than fucking Kang was. Like
Yeah.
Kang, we know, has been planning all of this, like in the end of time with clones of Captain America and Thor and whatever. Like he doesn't give a fuck anymore. Whoever it is, even though it really probably just will be Tony
Tony
Stark, we
Stark.
assume.
Yeah.
But like Harry feels like if Peter disagreed with him now, he's gunning for Peter. You know what I mean?
Well, Harry seems like, because I just reread all these issues, and Harry, I think the thing about Harry, and this is again maybe a funny metatextual thing, Harry thinks he's the protagonist of this. Harry thinks
Yeah,
he's the hero. Harry thinks
yeah.
that he's the one that's going to save the world. He's
But
the
he's
one that
not even
tells
on the
Peter,
list.
yeah, and he's not even on the list. And I think
Yeah.
something like that is the type of thing to break someone like
Mm.
him, because
Or a thing that his AI is going to pick up and be like,
exactly,
"You're not even
because
on the list."
that's what I was going to say. His father was like, you are not. There's a line. Have you seen Succession?
No.
This is going to sound like a random pull, but there's a line in Succession where it's all about the dad owns a company and he's got a bunch of kids and who's going to inherit the company after him, and this fractured relationship they have with their dad. But there's a
Oh, like a
line
Succession.
like a Succession. Yes. Ooh, why do you
This
think they
makes
named it
sense.
that?
Okay. Fuck, I'm
He
sure.
says to his kid, he says, I love you, but you're not a serious person. And
No,
so,
I think you brought that up before, haven't you?
and I like that. That for me is what this is, where it's like that's Norman's relationship with Harry, you know,
Yeah, well,
where
he says that to him in it's like issue 5 or whatever. He
yeah,
goes,
yeah,
Harry, day in my life is, and he's like, oh, it's when we played catch, and he's like, no, it's the day that you became a man, but it hasn't happened
it
yet.
hasn't
And
happened
it's
yet.
like,
Exactly.
Jesus
So that's
Christ,
yeah,
man,
him not
what?
being on the list is the kind of thing that AI will latch onto and will
Oh
drive
yeah,
him
yeah,
mad. I think
yeah.
this is the version of Harry that's going to go crazy because he does genuinely think he's a hero.
Mm,
And he
man.
is so far. He's not done anything really bad so far. He's torturing Bullseye.
And we killed him. He's dead now.
Is he dead? We haven't seen him yet. Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
they said they said didn't they say they killed him?
I think they did actually. Nothing, but
I
yeah,
think they did because like he tore out all the stuff in his thing,
yeah.
and then um I'm sure they alluded to the fact that like he actually killed him. What did you think about the Sinister Six?
I think the Sinister Six is fucking cool. I like
It is
how
a cool.
each of them is for a borough. which is an interesting
Each
idea
of them
for
is
the
for a
Sinister
borough,
Six.
including the secret one, which is the
Yes.
Mole Man. I thought that was
Mm,
so funny. I was like,
yeah.
because like you're reading it like, who's going to be the last one then? And they were
Yeah.
like, oh, he doesn't travel by helicopter. And I was like, who is
Who?
it? And then it's
Yeah.
Mole Man. And I
Mole
was
Man.
like,
I was like,
oh,
oh, Mole Man. Okay, Mole
yeah,
Man.
right.
But this is this. Okay, so our Sinister Six is Kingpin, Mole Man, Craven the
Mm,
Hunter, Black Cat's dad,
yeah.
who is Black Cat,
Mm.
Martin Lee, and Mysterio.
Dude,
Sick.
that is the coolest looking Martin Lee
It's a
ever,
cool.
bro. He
Oh,
looks
he looks
so
so
sick.
cool. Yeah, he
He's
looks
got like that
awesome.
pin back like hair and the
Yeah.
beard. He looks awesome.
I love the
Mysterio
Black
looks
Cat
awesome.
design. He looks
Mm.
really cool. I think this next issue, though, I think a lot of the complaints so far about Ultimate Spider-Man, if that we've heard, because there haven't been a lot of complaints at all, but it's
Yeah,
mainly
I
that
really I hadn't seen one until you sent that video. You
I got a
just sent a
video
clip of a
recommended
video
to me
the other
this
day.
morning about how this guy thinks that this book's boring because there's no fight scenes.
Yeah,
But I
it's
think
like,
that's a
come on.
that you know what that could be a maybe a genuine complaint if you word it correctly, where it's like it's a lot of talking so far.
See, like
I think
I haven't felt that
no,
because
and
I
I
binged it.
I
Like,
haven't felt that
yeah,
either. Even reading it month to month, I'm still very satisfied with all the talking. I know how Hickman books work,
yeah,
but
exactly.
I think this next issue, I think Peter's going to get the absolute shit kicked out of
Shit.
him. And I think it's going to be one of those issues where like everything really ramps the fuck up. I think
Yeah,
this is going to
cool.
be the type of issue where the last page is like him face down in a puddle and like bleeding from his eyes or something, like because he just got the shit kicked out of him. And it's Mary Jane watching on TV, like, oh my God. You know, it's like one of those
Yeah.
issues where, oh my God, it really just something, they just crank it is
How would
moving.
you feel about this run if they assassinate both of his kids? And he makes a deal with the devil that him and
And he makes a
MJ
deal with
can't
the
be
devil.
married anymore.
Oh,
What if they like?
imagine
What if they
he
just
did it again.
fucked it? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This book is actually it is insane that this book can exist, and then Marvel editorial is it Nick Lowe or whatever the fuck his name is can like
Yeah.
still look at 616 Spider-Man and be like, it's okay, this is fine.
Yeah, this is appropriate for this character. Well, I
You
wanted to talk
genuinely
about
might be right. Like maybe just shoot that. Maybe Superman Reborn just collapse them into one person, just like,
yeah. Well, because
and just go from there.
I wanted to talk about regular Spider-Man. Regular, I mean obviously 616 Peter, because I know we do it a lot, but you have this new kind of added context of what we as Marvel fans at this moment in time feel, because now you've read
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm.
And as you haven't read what a lot of, if any, issues of Amazing Spider-Man, you've read since fucking past.
Oh, I've read Sins Past because I thought it would be funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
not
read
very
6
funny.
issues of Amazing Spider-Man all up.
What other
4
ones?
issues of Sins Past. I think it was 4 issues.
Yes, 4.
2 issues of the Spider-Verse Morlan crossover
Oh,
thing
right,
as
for
part of my
Miles
Miles run.
Morales.
And I'll be honest with you, anytime there was a dialogue box bigger than like, I'm going to say 20 words, it was a cursory glance at best. It was not,
Yeah,
it was
you don't
not a
got those
thorough
are
read.
those are Dan Slott words. You don't got to use those.
Yeah.
Dan Slott actually does write
Dan
via the
Slott's
Marvel
writing
method.
is like singing to an Imagine Dragons song.
No,
Like, you're gonna do it.
Dan
Like,
Slott writes using the Marvel method. He actually does. So those
oh,
words do
really?
not fucking matter.
Fucking mean anything.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nuts.
But I wanted to talk about how we kind of alluded to it last week, but we've had these discussions where Spider-Man as a character, the Peter Parker character, is beloved by pretty much everyone in the world. There's not a lot of people you run by that can genuinely say they don't like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's probably the most profitable character in the world right now. He might be the most profitable character ever.
Mm.
And yet, they have not stopped fucking with that version of the character that we love.
Yeah.
And it's unfathomable. It's crazy. Like if you tell a non-comic fan about this, they just go like, what are you talking about? Because they can't fathom a universe where the guys that own Spider-Man don't value Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah. And
You
it's
know?
not to say like we don't like the fact that he goes through trials and tribulations. People don't like the fact that the character's been written insufferably for like so long. And every
Yeah.
every part of the character that people really want, Marvel seems immune to giving. They would rather like drag the name through the mud before being like, let's do
Yeah.
this for the character.
Well,
Like,
because I thought it was interesting talking about the Harry Peter relationship in Ultimate Spider-Man, because I think that what I have in reference to is the Harry Peter stuff in 616 Spider-Man, which for me is like some of the peak Spider-Man stuff ever. It's JMD Mateus, Spectacular Spider-Man. It's at an era where Peter and MJ are married, and Harry Osborn is married to Liz Allen, and
is this around the era that he dies?
Harry, yes. This is the
Yeah.
story's leading into when he dies. But it's
Okay.
basically this era where Harry is the Green Goblin. Peter knows that Harry's the Green Goblin, and Harry knows that Peter is Spider-Man. And Harry lives in the room above Peter and MJ in their apartment building, and like stalks them as the Green Goblin. I'm gonna send you this picture of an art of a cover.
God,
I think it was.
I just saw that fucking that. I just saw this again.
Oh, that
fuck is
terrible
that?
costume. Look at
What
this.
is
So
that?
I sent it in the chat, but this is like a cover from the time.
Oh my god! What
This
the
is
fuck?
kind of the vibe that Spider-Man
Bro, that
is
is
going on.
horrifying.
It's a picture of Harry Osborn as Green Goblin standing over Peter and MJ sleeping on their couch in their house. But that was the era of Spider-Man that they lived in. That was like a really tense time where Harry wants to kill Peter and MJ, or the Green Goblin does at least, but the only thing stopping him is that Harry's like, they're my old friends.
I'm gonna try and find like a higher quality version of that picture, and I'm gonna make you that Green Goblin on the thumbnail.
Hell yeah. but that's the era they have, and that's the Harry Osborn. He's creepy, dude. Yeah. That's Harry Osborn Green Goblin though. And I think that's kind of like for me, I feel like that's the ultimate. The era that started from when Gwen died, I think closes at that point when Harry dies. Because I think for me, that's a point where Peter does all the growth and is ready to like mature into a next step in his life. Because at that point, Gwen's dead, Norman Osborn is dead, and now Harry Osborn is dead as well. Peter and MJ are married. For me, that's the jumping off point for like what should have been Spider-Man today, which we've talked about this a lot. Spider-Man as we know it, as the one we like, Peter Parker we like as we know it, irrevocably changed during the Clone Saga. Because that was the point.
I honestly feel like I'm sitting in the audience at a TED Talk, just like.
But this is the thing that I said to you last week, but it's basically that at the beginning of the Clone Saga, which there's arguments about where it starts, but generally people consider it to have begun around Amazing Spider-Man 400. And that issue is Aunt May dies, right? Aunt May dies. She tells Peter in her last day, she says to him that he takes her for her last.
Fucking make a deal with the devil.
Don't make a deal with the devil about me because I want to die. I want to see Ben, for fuck's sake. Yeah. But he basically takes her to the Empire State Building for her last day, and she asks him, how does it feel at night? And he goes, what do you mean? She goes, to swing around. And he's like, what? And she's like, I've known you were Spider-Man since you're 15 because you were a 15-year-old and you lived in my fucking house. I knew you were Spider-Man.
I'm not an idiot.
Yes, exactly. And then she dies peacefully. And that's like a perfect retcon. That's a perfect ending to the Aunt May character. You know what I mean? And because Aunt May in the past used to like shit on Spider-Man. Oh, he's a terrible person. And the reason she did that is they say that she wanted to subliminally message Peter that he should stop being Spider-Man because she loved him so much. Whatever.
Wow.
But
yeah, I believe it. That works.
Exactly. Sure. I guess fine. But again, Aunt May's dead, and MJ's also pregnant. And by the end of the Clone Saga, Aunt May's back to life. Norman Osborn's back to life. Mary Jane does not have that baby. And so it's like, well, actually, she technically does have that baby, but Norman Osborn kills it. But they never mention that in canon. But Harper,
what do you mean?
All right. End of the Clone Saga happens. Okay, obviously we know the Clone Saga as a story where Ben
This
Riley
is
shows up.
I'm so in.
Ben Riley shows up and says, "I'm really Peter Parker. You're fake, and you've been fake since Amazing Spider-Man issue 1." And Peter's like, "Wow, I'm fake. That means I don't have to be Spider-Man anymore. You're Spider-Man. I'm gonna go retire and live with my wife and raise our kid." And so Peter retires. Ben Riley becomes Spider-Man. Flops hard. It fails because nobody wanted to be told that the Peter Parker they read for their entire life was fake.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. So they rejected it. And they rejected it so hard that Marvel editorial had no idea how to satisfyingly end the Clone Saga. So what they did was, it's I forget what issue of Amazing Spider-Man it is, but it concludes in Spider-Man adjectiveless 75. And the end reveal of the issue prior was that Mary Jane has the baby in the hospital, and there's a nurse that works for like a shadowy evil figure who takes the baby and goes to a meeting on a pier with a shadowy guy who reveals himself to be Norman Osborn. And Norman Osborn, who
Do
we
not tell
haven't
me.
seen because he died in Amazing Spider-Man 122. He died, 20 years prior. He's been dead for that long. They brought him back because they didn't know how to end the Clone Saga. And this is what's so crazy, Harper. This is an actual issue of Spider-Man that happens. Spider-Man
Can I predict?
75.
Can I try and predict?
Yeah.
Does he just throw the baby into the water?
No. You're going to hate it because people have hated this forever. But basically, they find out, Peter and MJ are freaking out. Where's our kid? Where's our baby? Where's our baby? And Peter and Ben Riley track it to Norman Osborn. And Peter's flipping the fuck out because Norman Osborn's back to life and he has my baby. And so they track him to a house, and Peter breaks into the house, and who's there but Aunt May? And and they reveal that the Aunt May that died with Peter was actually an actress that Norman Osborn hired to die in the role of a lifetime. And they never again mention the baby.
Even they what?
They never
Wait.
mention the baby.
Wait. So they wait.
Norman Osborn gets the baby. Peter tries to find it. He instead finds Aunt May and goes, "That's good enough." And they never think about the baby ever again in
That can't.
canon. That happened.
There's no way that's true.
That happened. There is a
Like,
have you read Cantwell? Christopher Cantwell wrote Gold Goblin, which was good guy Norman Osborn recently. Yeah. And there's a lot. There's one reference to it where on a whiteboard, it's bad things that Norman Osborn has done. It says Gwen Stacy. It says the baby. And that is it. And that was 30 years after. That's it.
But wait, that's
it. And that's
but like no.
Happened was, and this is not.
No, it's his child. So Mary Jane gave birth
to Peter Parker's child, their child together.
It's their child. The thing that anyone in their right mind would care about more than anything else in the world, and it doesn't get brought up again. Are you sure? See, like I want to Google it.
No, I'm 100% sure because I've also spent nights like, wait, that can't be true though.
Yeah.
But 100% because the original plan, and this is said so much by J.M. DeMatteis, who I think was an editor at the time as well, was that they were going to have Mary Jane give birth and Peter was going to be a father. And the plan was that Spider-Man was just now going to be an adult man with a child, But someone higher up than them, like someone at Marvel Entertainment said, no, don't do that.
Can you say all of that again? I wasn't listening.
God damn
Sorry
it.
for the audience because I'm reading this.
Well, I was just saying that the editor at the time, basically what happened was the plan was for Peter and MJ to have that child, and Peter would have been a father, and that would have been the status quo for Spider-Man moving forward. But someone higher up than them at like Marvel Entertainment said, no, that can't happen.
Why? Why not?
I don't fucking know. But that was like the first instance of them stepping in and saying,
Prime
no,
Earth
Peter can't
616.
grow.
However, at the end of the story, Mary Jane was poisoned by Alison Mongrain, an agent of the Green
Yep.
Goblin, and the baby
Yes.
was stillborn in brackets, or seemed to be, as Mongrain took the infant away with her.
Yes.
And that's
That's
it.
that's it. That's it. That's
Then
it.
how? Then how does all the Mephisto or wanting to get rid of May Parker in the future because she's gonna like kick his
Oh,
ass or what?
well,
How does all
that
that
was
factor in?
well
Is that a new child?
no. Okay, well, the Mayday thing, right? Which is that it was Tom DeFalco. I just remember Tom DeFalco wrote this. He was the editor at the time. He was he wanted Mayday Parker to be Peter Parker and Mary Jane's child, right? In mainline 616 canon. And I don't really know how that would have worked because obviously the Mayday Parker from the Spider-Girl series is a teenager, and it's not like you're going to age up Peter that much, you know?
Yeah.
But the reason they made Spider-Girl the comic at all was like as a consolation prize, just because like they already had all these ideas planned out, and then we're suddenly at the last minute not allowed to do them. And that's the universe is called that's what people refer to as the MC2 universe. But that's basically the
I'm
universe where Peter is an adult with Mary Jane, and it's all about Mayday Parker, Spider Girl.
I'm reading this, right?
Yeah.
And it says they tried to tease that Norman Osborn had secretly switched bodies and stolen their baby. So there was a dead baby.
We never see it on panel.
Okay, but that tease was also done away with one way or another, depending on how you choose to interpret it. Did it work, and did Norman kill the child later, or was it part of some mystical plot? I'm not even sure that Marvel know now. That
Yeah.
they just took,
But they just
they
dropped
just
the
took.
plot line.
So they gave her a miscarriage. So Mary Jane thinks she had a stillborn.
But yes, but they figure it out though. They figure out that Norman
They
Osborn is
figure it
behind
out,
this.
right? Okay.
They figure out that Norman Osborn is behind this and took the baby.
But just like all people are assuming is that he took the baby and killed it, but like they don't even resolve that they killed it, like that he
No,
killed it.
no, we never know what happened to that child. We have no idea. The only idea we have is that Cantwell wrote it on a whiteboard of things that
So it's
Norman Osborn
assumed
has
that he
said that he
killed it,
did.
and they don't know that.
Yeah,
What?
because they found Aunt May instead.
What?
So, but that's where Spider-Man is. That's actually stuff that happened for real in canon. That is just like the degradation of this character, where it's like he's a not, but that was the first point where they step in and said he can't grow. You know, that's the first point where they were like, no, Spider-Man has to be this one thing. He cannot stop. He cannot keep growing.
They never resolved it. I'm Tyler. This isn't like I know you've thought about this a lot, but
Yeah.
they
Can you
haven't resolved
believe
the
that?
baby.
Never.
No, I can't. That's why I've
I
stopped
know.
engaging in
This
the
is the
podcast. I'm
most
just
popular
looking.
comic book character they have. Never resolved the baby plot. The baby of him, his child. It's
Dude.
ridiculous. It is actually so unbelievably insane. The Mephisto thing you were asking about,
Yes.
basically that's Nick Spencer's run, where Nick Spencer clearly wanted to undo One More Day, right?
Okay.
Clearly wanted to retcon One More Day, and sets up all the pieces revolved around the resurrected Harry Osborn, because Harry Osborn was one of the characters that came back during One More Day
As Kindred.
Well, that was what they did in Spencer's run, but he was Harry Osborn, normal guy Harry Osborn for the majority of his time back.
Oh,
but then I think what Spencer retconned was that him coming back was actually like he was split into two pieces as a result of being resurrected by Mephisto or something like that.
Right. Actually, wait, no. So I read some of those issues for the podcast. So I have read more
Amazing Spider-Man.
I've probably read maybe 12.
Look at that. And not so bad. But
Pretty
they're
much
about to hit
big
950,
Spider-Man
bro. You gotta catch up.
fan.
But Norman, Nick Spencer retcons that Norman Osborn, when he was a teenager in college, sold his child soul to the devil, Mephisto, so that he could be successful in life. So that.
Yeah, I did know that.
Harry's soul is owned by Mephisto. Harry
What
dies
the
in that run again, and Doctor Strange goes to Mephisto and asks him, "Hey, dude, what's your deal with Peter
Why? I've
Parker?"
seen that. I've seen that. Yeah,
He
that's
says,
right.
"What's your deal with Peter Parker? Like, what is this deal you made with him to rob him of his marriage? Why did you do that? Why does something like that matter to you?" And it's implied heavily that the reason he did it, because they show Mayday Parker swinging through an apocalypse,
Yeah.
is that in the future, she, Mayday Parker, the child of Peter and Mary Jane, would have been the one to stop Mephisto in the ultimate final battle,
Mm, okay.
which is, I guess, a fair enough retcon that you have to make as like a Hail Mary. Like, I couldn't undo the whole thing. Fine.
Yeah.
But he clearly wanted to undo the whole thing. And as a consolation,
Yeah.
they did let him undo one since past. So yay. At least
Yeah, he
that's
did
gone.
undo. Yeah, that's right. That's true. That's
At
true.
least
Yeah.
that's
So
gone.
now Norman Osborn fucked Mysterio.
Or something, yeah.
He
But
fucked Mysterio, but
I
Gwen
guess he
Stacy
deserves it
was
because he
the
killed that baby. So
what? Fuck, he killed that. It's like I don't need them to go, he fucking killed the baby. But
yeah, I don't
like
need a
the fact
panel
that
of him
they don't
strangling it.
find, yeah,
There's
they don't
never
find out.
resolution for that. Yeah, it's like horrifying and tragic.
That is
Mary Jane. It's also, but
insanity.
that's also the thing that makes the
Can you
character so
imagine, dude,
full.
in like 14 months' time, the Maker's City
Oh
opens
no.
up and it's Peter Parker's baby?
Oh my god. But I was gonna say that one of the things that does make the books feel so hollow and the characters so hollow today is that Mary Jane has never mentioned this. She's
That's
never
so bizarre.
mentioned that time that her baby died. Peter's never mentioned that this happened. It's like these characters are so hollow now because you pretend like none of this stuff matters.
So I mean, dude, we've got like Jerry Duggan's Iron Man referencing like obscure issues
Yeah.
from the 80s
But
that like only you and like you and me and like maybe
yeah,
two other people in the world are gonna go, oh my God, that's that.
but that's why Spider-Man is so disappointing. It's like, we talked about this. They decided at a point that he was going to stop growing. They
Oh,
decided at a
actually,
point that he
it
he
happened in
couldn't go
fucking
anymore.
it happened in Chip's Daredevil at the end of that. Like he starts seeing like the faces of people, and there was like Heather Glenn, and I was like, you and I are gonna both be
Mm-hmm.
like, that's
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah.
That's not something made for most like. And
Yeah.
Daredevil's referencing that. Spider-Man won't reference his dead baby.
Spider-Man references Dead Baby. They haven't ever.
Dude, that actually might be the single most insane thing I've ever heard about in
Yeah,
comic book history.
and that's again, that's their most profitable character. Yeah,
Did he?
but
Maybe he did just throw the baby in the lake in the
I have
Hudson.
no idea. We never will know because they'll never bring it up again.
Why? But you should. That is a thing that you really should bring up.
Yeah, but it's 30 years too late now at this point.
But it's not. Everything comes back around.
I know.
Flared pants are back in fashion, dude.
That's true. Yeah, I kind of like flared pants.
You don't.
I
You
do.
don't.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
yeah.
I think they're cool. I feel like Pedro Pascal would fuck up a pair of flared pants.
He probably does all the time, actually.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say about Peter, you know what? I think I lost it. It was gonna
And that's a
be
hero story.
that he's just like we said. He's the most popular character they have. Peter Parker means like so much to people, but it seems like Marvel just doesn't understand what people do want from that character.
Yeah.
Where it's like
I
it's
just
not,
can't
people
believe
relate
that.
to him, yes, because he struggles, and no one's going to argue that the Parker luck and the whole sacrifice, the melodrama of the fact that he can never live as a normal person is obviously integral to the character, the sacrifice he makes by being Spider-Man.
Mm,
But at the
mm.
end of the day, we like him as a person and we
Yeah.
want to see him do good because he's supposed to be us, and we want to be told that everything will be okay.
I was gonna say, I feel like when you start writing Spider-Man as though he's like Daredevil, then like there's a pro like I don't think you can have eternally sad Peter Parker. I think you need
Mhm.
to baseline all right, tragic things happen, but finds a way to get through. I'm just describing ultimate
Yeah.
Peter Parker. I think I just want like you just want it to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's it. But you want it. I would assume in a perfect world, you want the character. This is what I mean, though, is that when Harry dies and when Aunt May dies, that's the end of an era for that character. This future forward version of the character that we should have got, where he has a baby, would have been probably happier, would have been more fulfilled. And it's not that there's not struggles in there, but it's that the character
No,
is
but
now
like
dealing with something different. Like what I remember
I
is
hate
that
to
Tom
I hate to bring it
DeFalco,
up, but they did it with Wally West. Like
they did it with Wally
it
West.
can be
Yeah.
done. Like
And Tom DeFalco had this thing to say, and because he was the editor at the time, I think it was DeFalco was the editor at the time of Amazing Spider-Man. He was the one that wanted for Peter to have the baby. He said that the current editors on Spider-Man have said that the main thing about the book that they want to sell is that, or the main thing that they think is a core of Spider-Man is his youth. And DeFalco
yeah,
said, no, the
bizarre.
core of the character has always been responsibility.
Ability, yeah.
And by giving him a child, you're giving him new responsibilities that that add on to the drama of the character that we enjoy. It's not less interesting when you add more responsibility. That's actually what you do to that character to keep him interesting. So a
Yeah, exactly.
child,
To evolve them.
him being a dad and having to still be Spider-Man with this whole new level of responsibility in his life is the next step of the fucking character. And it's been the next step of the character for 30 years, and it's just been frozen.
At
And
least when Jeff Johns like miscarried Linda Park, he like
he
the
knew he
end
was
of
going
that
to
run is
undo it.
undoing it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The end of that run was always about like it coming back around.
And we obviously live in times that are cyclical. Like someone in the future is going to be an editor at Marvel that's going to want to marry Peter and MJ, right? And I will honestly believe that by the time we die, Peter Parker's going to have a goddamn kid. You know,
Yeah, I hope so. For your
but
sake, so that
it's
you can
annoying,
be
man.
happy.
It's just annoying. Like there are hopeful people out there that are thinking that Amazing Spider-Man 1000, which is I think in a year from now, is going to be the wedding again. Peter and MJ get married.
Wow, that is
But
hopeful.
that is so hopeful, and it's making this, this we're just chugging along to 1000. This should be exciting. This should be a celebration of the character, but we are actually at the lowest point maybe ever of him. And it's just like I'm afraid that they're going to waste that milestone. That milestone is going to
They
happen.
they
And it's
might
just,
actually because you
and
do
it's,
have
and
to have.
yeah,
Actually, I know exactly what you do for that milestone.
Bendis.
6160 and
Super.
616 meet. Do that.
Oh, well, they're definitely going to meet. There's no shot they're not
But
going to
if their meeting would be so monumental for an older Peter. I mean, technically older, even though this
Yeah.
616 Peter Parker should really be the same age. But anyway,
around there. Yeah.
yeah, they should. Just for him to be like, I'm married with MJ, I've got 2 kids, and it's fucking awesome. And for Peter Parker to see that and
they
like,
it's so simple because that literally could just be it. They could just do literally that. Like that's not stupid.
Yeah. No, it's
you know,
not.
because
But like, do that.
yeah, I don't know. It's just frustrating liking Spider-Man. It always is. The movies are pretty good though. I like a lot of those movies.
Let's go through them all now, right now. Spider-Man 2001, 2000, 2002. 7 out of 10. I like it a lot. It's
I'm
good.
gonna
It's
give it.
fun.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I love that movie.
Fuck. Spider-Man 2,
10.
2, a solid 8 for me. I like it a lot. 3 is a 6.
7.
It's fun. I have a lot of nostalgia. That whole trilogy, I got a massive amount of nostalgia for.
Yeah, we all do. We all do.
We all do. Yeah, exactly.
All right, tell me how you think Amazing Spider-Man's a 10 out of 10. Just say it.
I think it's a very strong 7.
I think it's a pretty strong 6.
That's pretty good, honestly, for you. No, you just got
right,
Romulus a 9.
I mean, what's it called? The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a 0. It's like a 1 or a 2.
That movie's dog shit. That movie
is dog shit.
The movie is dog shit. There's no other way to put it. It's a dog shit.
It's the same issue as the comic book one. It's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Homecoming is the best of that trilogy. Might be the best one.
8.
Maybe even. I like Far From Home.
Homecoming's an 8. Far From Home is a solid. I'm going to push it up to 6 to be nice.
Oh, nice. And No Way Home
is also an 8.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, there we go. And then Spider-Verse 10 and 10. Like, 10 and 10. Come on.
I'm actually gonna give both of them a 10 genuinely. You know what I'm like with 10s. I don't give them out, but I genuinely think both of those movies are. I've said to you before, they're the best animated movies ever made of all time. Fuck The Lion King.
Yes, they are.
Fuck Princess Mononoke. I don't even fucking know what that is.
No, it's
Fuck
true.
all of it. I don't give a shit. They're the best.
You know what
animated
those movies have?
What?
Peter Parker as a fucking dad.
Dad.
So
I know.
I'm just saying, man. I'm getting
Did you see
sick
Chris
and tired
Lord
of
and
him being
Chris
lame.
Miller and Phil Lord or whatever, and like
Leaving
having a
Sony?
fallout with? Yeah. So that Spider-Man noir series is not happening, bro.
Yeah, apparently what's over budget or something. You know, I read this quote in that Reign of Marvel Studios book that I thought was very fascinating. It kind of tells you how they look at Spider-Man from like internal.
We've got an easterly wind coming through. Possible thunderstorms. Marvel rain.
It's funny.
It's funny. It's a weather joke. It's a weather
Jesus
joke.
Christ. But there's a quote. It's basically the scenario is that it's Avi Arad and Ike Perlmutter own Toy Biz.
Oh god, both of them.
Toys Biz wants to merge with Marvel Comics to form Marvel Entertainment. And so in the process of the merger, there's a higher up guy who needs to decide, do I sell to Toy Biz or do I sell all of my characters to just this other company? And the guy's going with the idea that he's going to sell the Marvel lot of characters for $250 million all combined, all of the characters from Marvel combined. And Avi Arad and Ike Perlmutter literally ran into the building, ran up the stairs, busted into the meeting and pulled him aside and said the quote, "How much do you think Spider-Man is worth really?" And they said, Avi Arad says, you think that kids know Spider-Man from comic books, but they know him because they see him on their underwear. He is on their t-shirts. He's on their hoodies. He is $1 billion alone. And it's just the idea. I love that quote of how much do you think Spider-Man is worth really? Because that character alone is tens of billions of dollars of money that they could be making at any given moment. And they want to make Kraven the Hunter.
Ike Perlmutter or Avi Arad?
You know what I like? I like in No Way Home when it says thanks to Avi Arad for being the biggest G or whatever. Thanks to Avi Arad's great. He's got a big dick. He's the best guy ever. It's like, all right. Seeing that in the theater was just like, oh, okay.
Remember when Ike Perlmutter got fucking ousted because Feige hated him?
Yes. Remember when Ike Perlmutter has that really sinister picture with Donald Trump?
Donald Trump, yeah. It is
Look that up.
Look
that picture up. I put that in the thumbnail.
Sunglasses in the White House.
Yeah, and then it's clearly like a scooper's got like some random tabloid picture because they both look like it looks
god.
It looks like in a movie when a character is like coming across two guys at like a demonic sacrifice and is trying to take a picture and then sends him in the bushes or something.
That is genuinely the funniest fucking photo ever.
And it's one of the only pictures we really have of Ike Perlmutter too. It's terrifying.
Like, what are they talking about? That looks like the Kingpin and Bullseye having a fucking conversation.
That's the guy that owns Spider-Man. That's that guy's the reason you couldn't buy a Fantastic Four shirt for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
And the other is your favorite president.
Yeah. Don't. You know what? Yeah,
what?
I'm not going to say it on this podcast. Never mind.
Oh my god, that seems bad. Guess what? I got some news. Some scoop news.
Oh, here we go.
During a recent interview with Screen Rant, screenwriter Mattson Tomlin provided an update on the Batman Part 2.
We're not making it.
It's shooting next year. We're gearing up. And I will say that the bar just couldn't be higher. It's the sequel to the first one.
Yeah, it is.
But also, Matt Reeves is like no other. In the 5 years now that I've been working with him as closely as I have, I've tried to absorb as much humanly possible from him, and I'm so grateful for the time that I get to spend with him because he is a true artist who is operating in a world where sometimes art doesn't get to flourish, and he's trying to make something that really matters.
Jesus
so to be
Christ,
able to But to be able to be on the ride and be part of that process, it's pretty unbelievable, pretty tremendous. I'm psyched for the movie. It's shooting next year. That's exciting. Woo! Best Batman.
Woo, best Batman, easily best Batman. Yeah,
It's the sequel to the first one.
it's the sequel to the first one. I hope so. It is called The Batman Part 2.
It is called Batman Part 2, yeah.
So I would hope it's the sequel to the first one.
And that's a hero
I don't think I have
story.
anything else.
No.
Yeah. Good
I
episode.
look forward to hearing what you were about to say off the podcast, though.
Ooh, you know. Ooh.
I do.
Okay. 5 stars on iTunes or whatever. And I like checking the emails. Honestly, we got an email last week about The Flash. It's centered towards JD, who's not here. He's dead.
Well, wait for JD, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. To come back from the dead because he's dead. Breaking news.
Wow,
but
I feel like he's died a few times.
I think send emails.
Like
I like that. I like checking the emails. It's a hero story comics at gmail.com. Let me make sure that's correct. Yes, a hero story comics at gmail.com. Maybe we'll read them out. If we get some cool ones, if people want to talk to us, chat with us, we'll read them out. I like it.
We'll see you next week when we cover.
Is that next week? Aliens vs.
Alien
Avengers.
Avengers is next week, bro. Yeah.
Oh, no, I
100%.
won't be here next week.
What?
I just realized that.
Were you actually not?
No, I won't. I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be at DC. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. I'm going to be visiting that guy. Giving him a piece of my mind. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a real story.
Have a fun holiday. Oh, actually, look what. No. Wait. Look what else is coming out that week.
Uh-oh. The Amazing Spider-Man issue. 950. All right, yeah. Good episode. What does Hunter say?
Zeb Wells is still writing this fucking book.